The sky had been gray for so long that Lena almost forgot the color of blue. She remembered it only in dreams, endless stretches of it above green fields, warm sunlight on her face. Now the world was ash and silence. 10 years had passed since the fall, when fire rained from the skies and cities crumbled into dust. Few had survived. Those who did lived like shadows, scavenging the ruins. Lena had learned to move quietly, carrying only what fit in her pack: a canteen, a knife, and a notebook. She wasn't just surviving, she was recording. Someone had to remember what the world used to be. One morning, while crossing the remains of an old highway, she saw smoke rising from the distance. Smoke meant fire. Fire meant people. Against her better judgment, she followed. The trail led her to an old gas station, its windows shattered, shelves stripped bare. But inside, someone had built a fire in a steel drum. A man stood over it, his back turned, humming softly. "Hello," Lena called, gripping her knife. The man turned slowly. He looked to be in his 30s, his clothes patched and worn, but his eyes were startlingly calm. "You shouldn't be here," he said. "I saw the smoke," Lena replied. "I thought maybe," he shook his head. Smoke draws the wrong kind of attention. As if on cue, a distant howl cut through the air. Lena froze. She knew that sound. Not dogs too guttural, not human too sharp. The wraiths. They weren't ghosts. They were people, twisted by radiation and starvation, hunting in packs. The man grabbed a crowbar. "If you want to live, follow me." They fled out the back, racing into the woods. The howls grew closer. Branches snapped behind them. Lena's lungs burned, but she forced herself to keep pace. At last, they reached a crumbling church half hidden by trees. The man shoved the doors open, and they slipped inside. Candles flickered along the walls. "Safe," he whispered, bolting the doors. Lena dropped against the pew, gasping. "Thank you." The man studied her carefully. "Name?" "Lena. Daniel," he said after a pause. "You travel alone?" She nodded. Since the fall, something flickered across his face. Pity, maybe. He sat across from her. "You write, don't you? I can see it in your hands. Ink stains." Lena glanced at her notebook. "I record things, so people will know what happened." Daniel smiled faintly. "Then you're more important than you realize." They spent the night listening to the wraiths prowling outside. At dawn, the howls faded. Lena expected Daniel to send her away, but instead, he said, "Stay. This place needs someone like you." For the first time in years, she felt hope. Days turned into weeks. Daniel showed her hidden cellars full of supplies, taught her how to set traps, and kept the fire burning. Together, they began to rebuild a sense of life. But something gnawed at Lena. Daniel never slept. She would wake at odd hours to find him sitting perfectly still, staring at the fire. And sometimes, when the candlelight hit his face, she thought his features blurred, as if she were looking at smoke instead of flesh. One night, she asked, "Who are you really?" Daniel looked at her for a long time. "I told you. I survived the fall." "No," Lena pressed. "No one survives like you. You don't eat. You don't sleep. What are you?" His smile was sad. "I was there when the sky burned. I was one of the first to die. But death doesn't always mean the end." Lena's blood ran cold. "You're one of them." He shook his head. "Not a wraith. Something else. When the fire came, it tore the world between what was and what is. I was caught in between." Lena gripped her knife. "So why help me?" Daniel stood slowly. "Because you remember. Because you're right. Someone has to carry the truth into tomorrow. I can't, but you can." Before she could reply, the doors rattled violently. The wraiths had found them. Daniel turned to her. "Go through the cellar. There's a tunnel that leads to the river. What about you?" His calm eyes glowed faintly in the firelight. "I'll keep them busy." The doors cracked. Shadows spilled inside. Daniel charged, crowbar in hand, moving with impossible speed. The wraiths shrieked as the fight erupted. Lena fled into the cellar, the sounds of battle echoing behind her. She ran until her legs gave out, until she tumbled into the cold air by the riverbank. When she looked back, the church was burning. She opened her notebook with trembling hands and wrote, "His name was Daniel. He was not alive, but not dead. He saved me, and because of him, I will remember." The flames lit the horizon, but Lena walked on, pen scratching against the page. The world was ash, but tomorrow still waited.